I hadn't necessarily planned upon doing so, but I suppose I should address some people's interpretation of the VIPs as bad actors. The director is obviously and rightly enamored of Stanley Kubrick. It's everywhere in the film. May I therefore reference Clockwork Orange in this regard? Virtually every character in that film is stylized. Nowhere was Maestro Kubrick going for a strict naturalistic acting performance. It was over the top, it was stylized, it was cartoonish, and it was right. And so be it with Squid Game. This was not Godfather 2. It was never intended to be. When I got to Korea, I was handed a thick storyboard script. The whole film had been drawn in little boxes, just like a comic book. Every little movement of the hand, of the finger, of the face, of an eyebrow was included. The actual shooting, then, was in pursuit of these meticulously pre-planned images. That doesn't give an actor any room to interpret, color, or make it his own. He has to simply follow the directions. When I called the young star closer to me as he was serving drinks, with my finger, as if to say, "Come here, come here," the director shouted out, "No, closer to your face. Bring your hand closer to your face. No, closer, closer." So it was like that. Actors are, after all, tools of the director. Perhaps if you're Tom Cruise, you can throw the script out. But I like it that way. I understand my job and the perimeters of my ability to interpret other people's work. So if you look at the VIPs from the vantage of Clockwork Orange and every character within, it was absolutely fine. It was, of course, jarring to suddenly hear an American voice, following 6 episodes of my excellent Asian brothers and sisters acting. But we were meant to grate. We were supposed to be boorish, obnoxious, pigs. One woman recently wrote me, "You are such an asshole in that movie. I hate your guts. Boy, you're a really good actor." Our job then was to be obnoxious, and in that we succeeded, all of us, admirably. Then one could, if they so choose, comment upon the script. It was not written by a native English speaker. It's important to remember that. The jury's in. We all understand that the director is a masterful storyteller. But this had to be, by definition, a script filtered through the mind of a Korean as to how he interpreted an American might act in this situation. This concept casts aspersions on no one, really. This was a Korean film, made in Korea, for Koreans, in the Korean language, about Korea. It is, I believe, important to remember that. If you're looking for a supernatural performance, check out Peninsula. But in this, I was Boss Hogg, a cartoon, a disruptor, and annoyer. And on that level, it works for all of us VIPs and for the audience admirably. It was the director's vision. And look, he spent a good part of his life putting that show together, and being rejected, he says, for over 10 years. Do you think he would have just put anyone off the street in those roles? I was flown in. They had the ability to get anyone they wanted, as the production was partnered with Netflix, and they chose me. Us, all of us. Further, not one word of my dialogue was cut. If anyone was unhappy with that performance, believe me, the way they handle it, rather than reshoot, which is impossible, is to whittle down the character to almost nothing. They didn't do that. The powers that be were fine with that performance. I'm fine with that performance because I understand it. We actors, all of us, in every production, anywhere, serve at the pleasure of the director. In some films, like Peninsula, we have a wide berth, a latitude to interpret as we see fit. A good 30% of my dialogue in that film came from me on the spot. But you cannot, by definition, do that with a big film like Squid Game. It would be impossible for all the moving parts to work together if people were doing their own thing here and there. Which brings us back to the encyclopedic storyboard. In summation, good actors are capable of bad acting, or what appears to be bad acting. Bad actors are not, conversely, capable of good acting. As a performer, you just have to enter into the production, doing the best that you can, guided by the hand of the director. It is, after all, and forever, his baby. You know, when I wrapped my role in the movie, I was invited to go say goodbye to the director. When he saw me in his little hut, surrounded by monitors and equipment, he rushed over and gave me a hug, a big hug, a hug full of emotion and, I think, gratitude. He was modest, unassuming, and sincere. I liked him. He's a good guy and a talented cinematic visionary. A fish can never be a bird. A dog can never be a cat. Everything is as it is, placed where it should be, and serves the function it was put here to perform.